you going to take away from this competition?
Nothing.
And that, my friends, is just the tip of the iceberg for Jojo Siwa recently. Since day one, people have said her rebrand was somewhat a cover-up for all the terrible accusations put out by former XOMG pop members, and now we see why. Today we're going to go through how Dance Mums is much worse than what you think, expose another Jojo Siwa experience scandal, one which she has even been dubbed at this point to be stealing money from kids, highlight a desperation for attention to get fame by any means, and basically tear her own perception of herself apart. Because Jojo Siwa keeps getting exposed and she is being served a large dose of karma. So hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jake Baz, and today we're going to cook the well done steak already that is Jojo Siwa. The former Dance Mums kingpin, social media star and Nickelodeon golden child has only been taking L's in the past couple of months. This already started with the scandal of the XOMG pop drama, with mistreatment of children in the workplace being the norm, and this is only being exposed more now as we'll go through today. Her influential rebrand stunk it up, and her album, despite early success, is now flopping harder than a fish out of water. And now she's flashing literally the worst outfits known to mankind out on loads of events in what I think is an attempt to rage bait herself into thinking that she's more important and relevant. Today we've got so much to cover, and I am so excited to show you the levels of depths that she is going to right now, because as her relevancy wanes, she is only getting sadder with it, as well as the way that she is potentially draining people's pockets. So if you enjoy the video at any point, please hit the like button, and I would absolutely love you to subscribe if you want to see more of this. We're on the way to 50k subs, it helps us out a lot, and I'd love to see you back. There's quite a few sad and desperate things in this video, so I thought we'd start off with something a little bit light-hearted we can laugh at, because she has been going through this current rebrand, as you've seen, and it's been going brilliantly. Well as you'd expect for someone to just totally disavow all of her previous audience. Like you saw with the Karma video, she dropped all of the childish nature of what she was doing, apart from keeping like the teddy bears in her hair and, you know, oh god, cringe. But now I feel like she's trying to go through her arc of trying to become a model now and just trying to get work wherever she can, because she's still got a massive name despite how far she's fallen off. And I also think that she's trying to hammer in the fact that she is now this new person, and there's quite a few examples here of her just potentially hurting the eyes. The first and weirdest one here is this Lady Gun magazine cover, where I'm genuinely gonna have to censor some of this, but for some reason she seems to have a piece that made her look like she's got a fella down there, you know. What? Included as well some like nipples that have been put on it, and it looks like a male's chest with a six-pack. I genuinely did not think she would go down these sort of depths. There's another one here with just some I don't know, it's like she's got some tinsel stuck on her. Is she meant to be like an early Christmas present? I mean, I would not want that under my tree. Once again with this thong that's like, it looks like she's got a package, but I'll give her one thing, her hair does actually look really good. Shame about, you know, everything else that's going on there. We also get this amazing one here where she's doing seems to be in the starting lineup for a football team, wearing some like chainmail goggles for some reason. She doesn't look real in these photos. They are so heavily edited, like her face just looks like one colour. Once again as well with the cock piece. And I just noticed as well the tattoos, because there's multiple videos on her TikTok, which we have covered in the past, where she has multiple tattoos all over her body. There seems to only be 3 left. It's nice to know that she was just getting stick-on tattoos for her experience. And like, obviously everyone blew up with this, because it's just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, Jojo? I know you don't want to be kid-friendly anymore. This is just a bit of a weird, like, I don't know, is it meant to be like some sort of like gender-bending thing going on? But I don't understand the idea of bringing herself as this sort of like masculine figure with the six-pack, the pecs, and also the piece. Like, genuinely, I just don't understand what she's trying to achieve. It must genuinely just be one of them sort of like things where they're trying to act outside the box and be different for attention and clicks. Especially when you add here the actual magazine put out. Karma is still earworm. It's crazy that it's been relevant 5 months later, and that's the whole point. So yeah, admitting that the entire point of Karma was to just get in your head, it's not to be a good song. That's a great way to look at your music. I think everyone else has looked at it that way, considering how the album did. But then saying Jojo Siwa breaks out in this month's hunky cover. She sat down with a Times Square hotel room to discuss disassociating Logan Paul and Jake Paul and what she thinks about all the attention. And yeah, this is definitely one way to get attention. Pretend that you have a on the internet. But like, what is this photo shoot? I don't understand it. Why does the outfit have nipples? Why have you had to put nipples on it? No, it's weird. And the only way that I can look at this is that she's maybe trying to emasculate herself in some form to kind of, I don't even, but like, what's the point in it? That's the thing. What is she achieving by doing that? Once again, to me, just a scream for attention. But of course, that's not the only thing she did. She also did a Calvin Klein shoot, another idea of wanting to become this model. So maybe this is somewhere that she's pivoting in the near future. And I've had to blur this bit out because she's got a camel toe. And I've always had a bit of an irk with what she's doing on her social media when she has said explicitly that she doesn't want the kids that previously watched her to look at her new stuff. She wants to have that barrier and gap between the two things that she was, what she was previously as a child star and what she's like now. And I don't know about you, but wearing Calvin Klein briefs with a camel toe and posting it on the same TikTok which you used for that same childish stuff is just a bit ironic when you consider also she has created a new YouTube channel for all of this new Jojo Siwa stuff. So why hasn't she done that on TikTok? Apart from the camel toe, I've actually got no hate on the rest of these. These are pretty standard, you know, sort of photos. Of course, she's going to make it flashy and different because it's Jojo Siwa. But also, actually thinking about it, I don't think I'm ever going to go outside wearing some boots with a jacket on and then just my boxers. Just a bit of a weird one, but obviously, like I said, I think she's trying to get more into the modeling essence and become, I don't know, maybe a catwalk model, something like that. She can achieve anything because she's so rich, famous, and perfect. Despite all of the mistreatment and problems, which we will cover later. But the most outrageous one showed up on my For You page, which is this one. You just can't do anything but stop and stare, can you? What is she dressing up as? Is it a Sesame Street character? What are you aiming for here? She puts on the absolutely brilliant boots. What are they? What even are they meant to be? Are they meant to be monsters? I don't know. Seems to have also had a bit of a green line just smashed across her face. And then the grand finale. What is this shit? What is she? Oh my god, no, she's doing the dance. She's doing the dance. We know hands. I can't. And yes, somehow this was for Fashion Week. Somehow. This is from Jojo's videos that she put on TikTok. She seems to be a Furby. Don't know why with the extra, like, monster feet, but maybe she just wants to stand out a little bit more. And I know what you're thinking. Cringe. And I know what I'm thinking. Disgustingly cringe. And I genuinely didn't understand why she's done this. Like, I know that fashion can get really, really weird when you get to the higher echelons of these sort of events and stuff, but this is like the meat dress from Lady Gaga, just trying to grab that attention by any means because it's slipping because of the content that she does now is not as well responded to as it used to be. Her album's ended up becoming a bit of a flash in the pan and she's upset by that and she's trying to get attention by any means, and that is exposed obviously right here. Where in a video she has put, I really wish I could wear something that makes people talk. Thank you for Christian Cohen for taking me the New York Fashion Week virginity. I mean, that's one way of putting it. And even though your virginity is now gone, I would not expect any further opportunities after that. Your vision is truly incredible and I'm excited for the future. Much, much love. She just wants people to talk about her, and well, I am talking about her. But not for just this reason. There is a lot more drama that's gone on. It's just really important highlighting the fact that she is now trying the hardest to just constantly just paint the walls with everything of what she's doing. She's just trying to get attention, get people to talk about her, get people to notice her by any means. And it's because of the fact that everything is disappearing around her. Her ego's through the roof, it's sky high, and she must have been seriously humbled when she found out how bad that album actually did. Like I said in my previous video on her, she didn't chart any of the album at all. She didn't really get any singles that did well apart from Karma, so she's gonna be humbled. But she obviously has this massive perception of confidence. She thinks that she is the shit because she's been told since she was a child that she's gonna be this golden child. Jessalyn Siwa has brought her up to be this perfect, idealistic example of what she probably wanted to be as a child. So because of that, that's why she's acting how she is. She even goes as far to say that she's serving.
But like with this, I feel like I look like a little like a little lunch lady.
Like, it's just so obvious his outfit's just purely for attention because it is the worst outfit I have seen in a while. She thinks she's serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but she's barely even serving the crumbs of a crisp packet. As well, just peep the guy fucking judging her in the back. Me too. It looks like she's come straight off of a Rick and Morty set. Tartan pants with a belt that's soft a little bit sideways with buckles in. She's got a t-shirt that seems to be ripped in half, wearing a, like, I don't even know, like a shiny green t-shirt underneath with 47 chains. She's got the usual glasses that you see at like a 3D cinema, but like yassified. Like, it's all calculated. It's all meant to look like that. But does it look good? No. Will I ever think it looks good? No. And it's obviously once again just another grab for attention from her. I think she might just think wearing random things equals good at this point, to be honest. Not exactly the way to go around it all. So yeah, this current rebrand is not working because she's just getting more and more desperate with every turn that you look at, leading to where now she's on the cover of a magazine pretending that she's got a cock. And I think if you're going down into the depths of that sort of thing, I think you might have lost the plot a little bit and lost the active audience, Jojo. At least you got people talking about you, not in a good way. And definitely not a good thing with some of the stuff that we will go through in this video, including right now. Because as we saw with the XOMG pop drama, she was accused of very long working hours, of being a bit of a around everyone, and also using kids or draining kids for their money, or the parents' money in this case. All to not only further her career, but also make her a shitload more money. And from this DAC Icons performance which is happening, you see a lot of similarities with what's going on. Because honestly, this experience seems pretty fucking daft. As there is an opportunity that you can have now to join Jojo Siwa with special VIP opportunities by performing at the Dance Industry Awards at the Gala of Stars. Donate only $500 to secure your costume and spot. Only $500? Well, that is so kind, isn't it? We all know how well ripping off your fans does for people, but this is for a good cause, which makes it a bit harder to look at. So what's happening, the article says you are invited to participate in a special performance that spans 2 exciting nights, complete with mandatory rehearsals. Oh, you're invited for mandatory rehearsals. God, let me put my money down right now. That sounds like a fucking steal. This is your chance to display your talents on some of the most legendary stages in dance at the Avalon Hollywood and Beverly Hilton, while supporting Dancers Against Cancer, which is a non-profit organization which helps dancers with cancer, as you can probably imagine. And Jojo's not getting cooked necessarily for doing this thing, because you would hope at least that she's not getting paid for it, but obviously there's nowhere that says that. She's getting cooked for just the timings of everything, as well as the amount of money that people have to put up for this situation to occur. Whilst also seemingly selling it as like the ideal opportunity that you could ever take as a dancer. This is what's going to blow your career open. As we saw with XOMG Pop, that's probably not what happens. The chunk of the donation, which is $500, helps you secure your dancer's spot in the lineup and covers the cost of the costumes. This contribution not only guarantees participation, but also supports a heartfelt cause, with all proceeds benefiting Dancers Against Cancer. And my genuine question to that would be, how do we know what's going to charity? Like, it's a $500 ticket. How much do the costumes cost? What's the breakdown there? How much is going? I've seen people saying that this is potentially a scam because they're not saying how much money they're going to donate to cancer, but it is directly through this DAC fund, so it is going to be managed accordingly. This is not some nasty scheme that Jojo and her mum have set up where they're going to take all of the profits and then just give like a 10% donation, but $500 is still very, very steep in my opinion. It's all for charity, but $500? That's a bit much, come on. And the rehearsal schedule is genuinely confusing to me. Well, as you can see, there is 7 hours on Saturday. On Sunday, you've got a 4-hour shift. Then on Monday, you got a 5.5-hour shift, with then Tuesday being all day for the rehearsals and the performance, and with Wednesday being all day as well. And now I can understand that there is a need for people to be around all day for that sort of thing, but there is no time there. How early is all day? We need to remember that this is something for, like, it's for charity, and it's also something that is being performed by children, which is another thing which is really confusing to me, because as we've seen with Jojo Siwa, she is now reinventing herself to be anything but around children. So why would she create a dance rehearsal purely with children? And in my opinion, that's because that's the easiest way for her to get people into it. But like, you don't want to associate with children, and we showed it in the last video of her dancing around with some kids, showing the Karma rehearsals, and then now she's doing a massive schedule with a load of kids, it's really confusing to me. Remember around child labour laws as well, 7 hours is way too much. And so is the 2 all-day performances. And my question would come from this. There is a lot of hours that are coming together. Why couldn't she split this up over a longer time? And it's obviously intentional for both Jojo and her mum to be doing this. It's because we take up as little time out of our week as possible. We're famous, we're busy, we don't have time for this stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to cram everything into a 5-day schedule so then these kids can be absolutely burnt out. Because it's their dream, it's their opportunity, it's their once-in-a-lifetime moment. They're going to go and they're going to do it and they're going to like it. Meanwhile, we will just sit there, get the minimum amount. It should be fitting around the children. And it also should be accepted to the means of the children, because $500 is not something that a lot of people can actually put up front for a 5-day event to potentially benefit their child's career. Just a bit of a howler from Jojo Siwa, in my opinion. I don't know, that she's obviously been involved in the pricing and all of this, and I find it ridiculous. But then the other weird thing is that the $500 for the mum and dad, it doesn't even guarantee that you go to see your child. So you've got to put up even more money. With the 2 days of the events being the Industry Dance Awards at $75 for general admission, and then the Gala of Stars on the day after, which is $250. So you want one of your kids there, that's $500, or you want to go and see your kid, mum and dad, well, that's an extra $800. So $1,300 for a 5-day experience. The fact that the parents can't even go and visit their children without forking out $150 when they've already done $500 for one day and then $500 for the next is absolutely ridiculous to me. Once again as well then, you can expect that this is for charity, this will be going to a good cause, but a lot of people don't have that sort of money to drop on charity. And this becomes very evident as to where these are aimed at later. They once again as well hammer in how important this is, being a unique opportunity that allows young dancers to perform alongside notable figures in the dance community, help families in need through their artistic expression. But then again, how about the parents of the children that can't afford $500 to set them up for the weekend? Because bear in mind as well, this is all in LA, so how many people are going to be able to, from for example, 2 states away, how are they going to come over, afford like 5 days worth of hotels, all of this stuff, all the travel included? Like, it's going to be an absolute bomb for the parents. And obviously, that's only going to hit the middle class, isn't it? Like, anyone who is in the lower class that is struggling and really needs this break much more than these sort of people, they're not going to have a chance, are they? It's totally benefiting that. Even though it's for charity, it doesn't mean that it's right. And of course, to be part of an event that promises an unforgettable experience and memories. Don't miss out on your chance to make a difference, dazzle the audience and create long-lasting memories. Let's dance for a cause and light up the stage at the 2024 Industry Dance Awards and Gala of Stars. One of the weird things that I did see is that when you actually go to get a ticket, it says this. It's saying $500 for the VIP ticket and then saying to add a donation on top of this if you want. And like, the wording for me there is just really weird. Obviously, it must just be weird wording there, but it does really stink. Also stating on the DSC website, which is a separate website to the DSC's actual website for some reason, that all donations are 100% tax deductible. You can see that this thing is entirely made for the big profiteers of this sort of movement. You would really think that Jojo, with the upbringing that she has had and the fact that she has become a star to masses amount of people, she would be somewhat humble, but she has never been humble and she never ever will be. And the idea of this place being so expensive to me is just weird, and it even gets weirder with the sponsorship packages if you want to sponsor the event, because for $10,000 you can get your logo and name included on the event website and the event signage with 10 guests, and then for an extra $15,000 you could get the exact same thing but just a social media recognition from an Instagram. None of these tickets are currently sold out and I really wonder why. And then for the other sponsors, there's also the 2 tables, so you get 20 guests with on-stage recognition, and then even $100,000 for just 30 guests, just getting more introductions for the communications and things like that with the sponsorships. And I understand as a charity you want to bring as much money as you can into a charity so you can end up benefiting more people. That's obviously the point of them. But in my opinion, the price gouging here that is totally getting rid of the majority of people, that the majority of working class people at least, that want to be in this event, they want to be like involved in it, and they just can't because of the stupendous amount of prices. It's just really weird, and it makes you think, if it was anyone but Jojo Siwa, would they be handling it in this fashion? And I don't think they would. And in my opinion, I think Jojo is really taking liberties with this, trying to cram everything into the smallest amount of time that they can possible to get this done. And then also making sure that if you have a mum and dad, the amount of costs if you are outside of the bubble of LA is going to be in the multiple thousands of dollars. Just totally price gouging all of the working class families out of it. Once again, this event is to a good cause, but I don't think this is right. And once again, I find it really, really weird that she is trying to do yet another event with children when she has said explicitly on multiple platforms that she wants to have a gap between when she was this child entertainer and what she's like now. To me, this screams like a Jessalyn play where she's like, well, we could get more people in, let's do it this way. And Jojo, being the PR brand that she is, she will just nod her head and say, yes, okay. And I don't know, is she sticking her fingers in both pies? Is she trying to entertain both sides of the community whilst also saying that she only wants to be one person now? It just doesn't make sense to me. And even more with this TikTok she uploaded a minute ago.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Jojo Siwa, and I am so excited to finally tell you all I am coming to Rhode Island for Comic-Con this year. November 1st to the 3rd is my first ever pop culture convention. I could not be any more excited. Hang out with y'all, take photos, sign autographs, maybe even a couple surprises or two. It's gonna be a ball. Come meet me in person. You might get construction worker me. You might get the Black Beast me. I don't know what you're gonna get. Hell, I might even put a bow on my head. What? Who said that? I mean, I got the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. See y'all there.
Like, genuinely, she's actually unbearable, isn't she? Just totally insufferable. Like, everything that she does, it just jars me off so much. But you don't know what type of me you're gonna get. You know, if you're gonna get the new one, you get the builder. How about we just don't get you? Ever, Jojo. Just fade away into the darkness, please. But in this TikTok, minus the grandstanding that she does about how much of a brilliant person she is and how she might give you autographs and stuff like that, she's got her kids set in the background, and then she even says, I might even put a bow on. Once again, what type of audience are you trying to please? Because you're saying so many times that you want to be going away from this character because you've done this full rebrand into this adult creator now. What happened? What changed? And why are you in this position now where you're saying these sort of things when you know full well that you don't want kids around your platforms that are new? You don't want them to be seeing Karma, you don't want them to doing this thing, but then you're baiting it out with like the teddy bears on your head by having this saying, oh, I might even bring a bow. Well, that's gonna ignore the rest of the child fans, innit? She's just such an insufferable person, and the idea that she is saying one thing and doing the other is very new to her. That's obviously sarcasm. She's done that multiple times. As you'll see, the other scandal that we're going to go through is just as bad as this, if not worse. But first off, I wanted to talk about Jojo Siwa and her haters because she seems to love them. Love to hate, hate to love. It's one of them transactional things which gets her attention. And over the past month, I feel like because she's trying to engagement farm on TikTok, she's been doing quite a few instances of this, so we have to have a look. And the first thing is from the reaction of what she was wearing.
Pulling out another baddie fifth with New York fashion week. It's a little something I like to call fuzzy inflated garbage bag with booger colored monster boots. Basically a Furby. And I also won't shut up.
She's pretending to love it, but you can see inside she's burning that little bit. The voice is actually on point. She's a little bit better than me. I don't know what it is with Jojo Siwa, but it seems like she's been she's been smoking like 20 cigarettes a day. It only gets worse. All the person's doing there is actually just exposing how obnoxious she is, and she loves it, clearly. At least for the ones that are a little bit easier for her to react to, she will go and react to them on TikTok, and she will try and make a funny thing about it when that's not how she feels, is it? Like in this one.
Here's some of my favorites. Are you ready? Yep. Sending hate from Brazil. No, bro. Please, not my country. Please, bro. Oh, just wait. It's better. Here's a good one. Jojo, start taking your meds. I'm going to the next one. Me after 2 days on Duolingo. Because it's literally me too. Jojo, you're going to make them not want to speak their own language.
I think they're very right. You are stopping people from wanting to be around, like Polish people, for example, that absolutely hate this Polish re-envision that you're having to try and get on Eurovision that we'll cover. But obviously everyone despises it, so obviously the people that are closest to it are going to despise it as well.
You had potential to be pretty, but you ruined it. That's a good one. Someone shut her up. Can you shut me up? Somehow my girlfriend dumping me was better than this. That's a good one to end it on. I have to say to that. Suck my putas.
She clearly did a good job of silencing the haters there, didn't she? It upsets me the way that she just tries to pretend that she doesn't care when it obviously really does somewhat affect her. But she's got to keep dragging it out through the mud like, come on, take the piss out of me, because it only helps me. Well, it doesn't only help you, it makes everything worse. She also once again responded to everyone dogging on her for the state of what she was wearing.
What are you going to take away from this competition?
Nothing.
So she's learned absolutely nothing from the experience of being dogged on because of the shite that she's wearing. Fair enough, Jojo. You keep being you, and I'm sure this is not what you is. This is your PR team that have created this perception of a person that is Jojo Siwa. Screw it, you're not even going to learn anything anyway because it's going to be all your PR team that's going to be doing all of the learning around the backlash of this. But then I see you on social media with like this, with the green tinge all over your eyebrows, and then these really obnoxious, annoying glasses and the chain. And it really does make me think that you might actually be this kind of person, but then reality hits and I realise, oh, yeah, she's just doing it all for attention. I've said multiple times, I think she has an inability to read a room, and that is definitely prevalent with everything that she's doing here. And the problem is when you allow or want these type of hate comments and you beg it on, it gets progressively worse and worse, because if you're acting like you're not reacting to it, they're going to double down and make it worse for you. It's a simple thing to not want to feed into something which makes everything like more annoying and bad around you, because then it's only going to get worse. And as you can see here, it did.
I'm all in for hate comments, but saying on my last post that the van missed me by a little bit, van was so close, that's not hate, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. And yeah, I'm not going to deny, obviously saying I wish a car had hit you is not a good thing. And it's not a hate comment, that is just a, yeah, I hope something bad happens to you. That's just nasty. But the question becomes, what did you expect when you feed into it the whole time? And even in this video, she says, oh, I'm all for hate comments. Why are you all for hate comments? Why do you want that to happen to you? And it's because she's stuck in this PR mode where she thinks that getting any attention possible is going to skyrocket her even further to be able to do stuff, because people will look at her social media and say, oh my god, she's had like 2 million views, 4 million views, 5 million views. Like she's just pulling it all in. When in reality, at this point, probably about 60-70% of all of her traction is from people who dislike her and not giving in to the comments and not like addressing it and just joking about it. Like you even laughed at the end of this one. It's only going to invite more people to say the exact same things or say things worse. And I know she's 21 and she's got a massive, large team behind her, but why don't her team understand that or want to know that? And your team clearly can try to read a room, like for example by bringing this rebrand that happened because of what it seems to be that the XOMG pop scandal dropped and then you changed instantly. And well, it would really tell you that there is some things that need to be forgotten about the Dance Mums era, the XOMG pop era, everything to do with that, and especially with Jessalyn Siwa. And well, this scandal, it really does make everything worse. So this section of the video, these screenshots are taken from Inaba's Notes, who is another commentary YouTuber, amazing channel, check him out. We even have a podcast together, which you might want to check out too. But what he did is he watched a couple of the episodes of Dance Mums, which I have also looked at, and I've got the notes here from him, which really do expose like how bad this situation was. And it's something that isn't being talked about or hasn't really been talked about on YouTube full stop. Which is really odd when you think about the XOMG pop scandal that was absolutely everywhere a couple of months ago. And this paints Jojo Siwa, Jessalyn in terrible light. Jojo sets it off perfectly by saying, it's going to be very fun, but a lot of hard work. Think you can handle my mum? I felt the same when I was 9. It's nice to know that your mum is clearly a lot of work and really nice to you. That's obviously the type of mum that I would want in any scenario. But this series gets even worse, like immediately. With Jessalyn and Jojo berating the kids 12 minutes in, the parents are mad at the kids for not doing enough in a dance-off. Having a lot of pressure on them, and then 18 minutes in, a child cannot breathe. Jessie says take 5, the kids step updoors, and it just gets brushed away, and Jessalyn does not speak and calmed her. Dance Mums is meant to be like this reality TV show sort of thing, so the idea that there's some stuff that are dramatized like this obviously makes sense, but why wouldn't you go and help the child? Especially now with what we know with the scandal, which we'll also slightly go over again, but we know that there was a very terrible workplace environment going on with the Siwas. So if a kid's struggling to breathe, probably from anxiety, and just leaving them and letting them get on with their own devices is actually sickening. I tried to take a deep breath and nothing comes in, and then bursted into tears saying how much she wants to do it, thinking her dream is over. And Jessalyn is only worried about the talented kid that is not going to be in the group. Oh, she's one of the best ones. Why can't she just get over her anxiety? I'm not going to be adding this girl because she's got a little bit of anxiety. Like, what? How disgusting is that? Jojo then shows her true colours of the narcissistic queen that she is, being really nasty to this child, saying we don't have time to go back and forth for Emily right now. When Emily's a bit slower and she comes back, they sit down and the kids get spoken to in front of everyone, speaking really patronising, saying stress is real but you can't let it get in your way, which is a brilliant way to actually treat mental health. Jojo, well done, well done. If there's one thing that I know from my experience, being told that you should just ignore it or just get over it is something that is terrible for anyone to have to deal with, yet alone a child. From this, you're suggesting that they shouldn't necessarily battle their demons, but just ignore that they exist. Not everyone is stuck up their own arse enough to be like you, Jojo. Also saying that when you're here, you've just got to go for it, no excuses. With even the parents, who are also a little bit weird, saying that they are massively stressed out and just get the vibe that Jessalyn does not give one shit. Because of course Jessalyn doesn't care. Why would she give a shit about these children when she's got the star? Everyone else is coming to her, her child. Why would Jojo's mum care? And then you get the obvious answer of, well, it's because it's their reputation. And then to that, I would answer, well, shut up. You don't have the right to be telling Jessalyn and Jojo how to act. As we saw with the Dancers Against Cancer thing that we covered earlier, there is obviously a very tight-knit schedule, and this is something that was also explored with XOMG Pop and also Dance Mums. And in Dance Mums, there's yet another experience of that. Jessalyn says, I'm devastated because people don't want to dance just because the kids are tired and exhausted, and Jessalyn and Jojo are really upset by it. Treating the kids like robots, with Jojo saying, I don't care what your excuse is because the kids aren't focused. And the parents battling each other as well. And like, what your excuse is? I'm sorry that you're tired. I'm sorry that we have multiple times broken child labour laws and that's why we're actually getting sued right now. It's just so disgusting to me, the fact that they are just totally going over the top for it. They don't really care at all, and it seems like they didn't give one shit. And this idea to just keep pushing against your own will, against your own body, is harmonized once again. If you get tired, push harder. If there's something wrong, you hide it and move on and forget about it, with Jessalyn saying that. And then kids crying at the end after being sent home, which obviously is weird to be showing the children crying and stuff about this situation because they've been sent home. They're not going any further in the competition. But then the motto from Jessalyn, from Jojo's mum, saying, well, if there's something wrong, you hide it and just forget about it. That obviously is no way to deal with mental health, with trauma, with anything that's going on in your life. Why the fuck would you do that? And not only that, it's absolutely terrible advice to children who you are trying to teach and educate, only in dance, but also in lifestyle, things like that. It's just so out of pocket wrong. And maybe this motto of, if there's something wrong, you just ignore it and forget about it, is something that is being passed across what they're doing in the culture of the work that they're doing, because you've seen this with the XOMG Pop scandal, which as well, once you harp back on it after looking at the stuff that we've just seen there, just from the first few episodes of Dance Mums, it really makes sense as to this being a more credible source from the Rolling Stone. Because Anjie, who is Leah Sanderson's mum, who was involved in the XOMG Pop stuff, raised her concerns about XOMG Pop with the other mothers and a studio teacher. The Sandersons say they told Jessalyn, and Leah was abruptly fired from the group. Oh, you've got problems and we can't ignore it? Alright then, in a bit, see you later, you're fired. Ruining a kid's dream because you are worried about the working concerns and environmental stuff that is going on, when you mention as well that Leah Sanderson was a disabled child. Clearly from Jojo, lack of forethought. Clearly from Jessalyn, a lack of forethought. And She seems like a horrible person. Jessalyn and Jojo's attorney said that these allegations are 100% provably false. But then when you match up what you have seen and been noted about and just told you about the dance mum stuff and you match it up with this, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Obviously, the attorney is going to go against what is being said, but still, just mention that. Also, as to why you haven't seen multiple people come out around this, it is because of the fact that Anjie was the only one who didn't sign the NDA, meaning that she could talk about Leah and the problems that they had on set. Meanwhile, the other mothers and children cannot talk about it at all because they are protected by law and they will get sued if they break that NDA. There's no surprise or doubt that the Siwas have a lot of money at their disposable income, so they can just battle it for all it's worth. So they don't want to try it, especially all of these kids that their mum and dads are putting all the amount of money into their career. It will totally derail their career if anything like that happens. So Jessalyn is working on the trust of that and just totally breaking it apart. It seems, according to Anjie as well, that they were missold what was going to happen on Dance Pop Revolution, saying that they thought it would be a making of the band style reality show and not a competition show. Which makes you think, what would the other mothers of the children think when they got the exact same response going there? Jessalyn seems, at least in Dance Mums, to be a big bully, and this is even further pivoted with what Anjie has said, because when she was fed up of the hours and the erratic school schedule, she had a verbal confrontation with the other mothers as well as a girl's teacher. When Jessalyn caught wind of it, she texted her demanding her to apologise to the mothers and her for their behaviour. You need to apologise for your behaviour of not accepting these terrible working hours, which you are currently getting sued for, by the way, Jessalyn. Like, what? And then also in Dance Mums, as I said, the children are treated, like, honestly, I think, like shit. And it's only even put further forward when they are financially being crippled by this as well. As according to the recording contract, the girls were promised $10,000 upon recording their first album, yet the Sandersons only received little more than $4,000 because Jess said she had to pay for the Airbnb that they would stay. So for travelling across for a reality TV show and then having to record the album, to go over to record it, they had to still pay for the Airbnb to be there. Which, bear in mind, in any other sort of business avenue, things like that, that is usually paid for by the business, because obviously without that child there, it's not going to be an XOMG pop album, is it? It's just so slimy and disgusting, in my opinion, from Jessalyn Siwa to try and be tight pinching every single penny when the amount of money that they're making is ridiculous. And this is even further put through here when a merchandising contract that the Rolling Stone got signed June 2021 entitled 7 members of the XOMG pop to 20% of merchandising revenue, about 2.8% per member, which to me is absolutely disgusting. The fact that they are getting that much money from all the different merchandising, the figurines that never ended up coming out, all of the t-shirts, all of the little merch pops that are going around, and Jojo and Jessalyn are getting 80% of it. Meanwhile, the rest of the kids, who are arguably just as important as in the merchandising, because if you don't have one of them, you don't have the XOMG pop group, are only getting 2.8%. Obviously, Jessalyn here is trying to pivot it as like a, well, Jojo is the star, she's the main figure, she's the reason this is all going. And yeah, that might be true, but also it's a group, so it's the sum of everyone's parts that makes it what it is. And to try and penny pinch that is disgusting to me. This Anjie, the mum of one of the XOMG pop members, is someone who is a very quote-unquote loud mouth around the situation because she doesn't have this NDA, quite rightly so. But even to the point that she's doing something that barely anyone on YouTube has covered, and that is the fact that she has a Reddit account, and a very active one at that. And I don't think I've seen anyone apart from iNabba cover this. And it's important because there's a lot of extra supplemental information that is in here, which proves once again and shows the depths that Jessalyn and Jojo were going to, and also how bad the mistreatment was by the XOMG pop group, making it seem like an absolutely harrowing experience, and once again putting Jojo and Jessalyn in a terrible light. Because there's been health issues, she has not been around as much, being as vocal as she could be around this. But if you manage to go back a little bit, there is quite a lot of information to sift through. And I picked out a few of the worst ones here. In r/Siwa Snark, someone messaged saying, does anyone have any stories of Jessalyn? I want to know if she's a nice person or not. With Anjie saying she's not a nice person and what you see on Dance Mums is totally real. And I do implore you to go and watch Dance Mums and see for yourself with how popular it is. And I don't understand how, with how popular it is, how people aren't reacting to it in this sort of way, because Jessalyn comes across as a terrible person. They don't show as much how awful she is, but you can read between the lines. Also, read the Rolling Stones article. Someone asked in the XOMG Pop Reddit why it took so long for the group to end, with Anjie saying she's still selling merch, but some of my child's face is still on it. Which, bear in mind, she gets 2.8%, so she is absolutely raking it in, clearly. And to me, I just can't get over that thing, that she has given away her child's rights for literally 2.8%, and I can understand why Anjie would do that. It's for the benefit of the child's career, but it doesn't make sense that it would be such a lowball for what it is. Merch with her face is still being sold every single day by Jojo and Jessalyn Siwa, and they're getting nothing for it. Anjie also mentioned on the XOMG Pop around the dolls that were meant to be releasing of all of the figures of XOMG Pop, which obviously would have been quite a big thing at the time, saying no, they were dropped after Siwa's fired Leia, which is Angie's daughter. All the toys went away and there was a lot. Leia was the prototype of the doll. They tried to blame us, but it was their own ego that got in the way of the girls' success. They thought the girls were expendable because they were the important ones. I guess not. The girls were not expendable and were not replaceable, so no toys. And like I said, that's the obvious thing around it. There is nothing that is replaceable around this whole group, because without a couple of the members in the band, there is no band. Jojo could go out there, she could do a solo stuff now as she's reinvented herself as a loser, but it doesn't stop the fact that without them, they wouldn't be a band. But Jessalyn with her massive money-grabbing hands and Jojo with her massive ego is not a good mix. Anjie also doubled down on the XOMG Pop Rolling Stones article, saying that Rolling Stone would not print an article without facts, and if I was lying, the Siwas would have sued me by now. They can't because I told the truth. You are certainly entitled to your opinion, though. Have a blessed day. And that's the big thing, isn't it? They're trying to reinvent themselves to ignore the previous scandals, like I said, because this literally happened, this reinvention happened a couple of weeks after this article, and they're not going down the legal route to sue them, which is something that happens in America very, very easily, it seems. With the amount of money that they've got and the amount of reach that they have, this is something that is massively, massively damaging if it wasn't true. And the fact that she hasn't been sued, Anjie, is evidence to that. Anjie obviously had a terrible experience, and this is followed through actually into something that we will be covering now. Because she said, Jojo cannot actually sing. I know this is a fact. We've seen enough clips of her singing raw to give that conclusion. I agree. It's too much. Your own country is over you, so let's try and steal someone else's country. Weird. I am more than sure there is plenty of Polish talent that deserve the chance. Talking about Eurovision, because Jojo Siwa was meant to be going on Polish Eurovision. Well, Eurovision as Polish. And this is because she has some very distant relatives in Poland, despite the fact she has grown up 100% American, it seems. And also the whole fact of trying to be this American golden child for years and years and years and being rubbed up with Nickelodeon. I said I think this is just another attention grab to try and get more people to her singles because she's got this one that's kind of like Polish somewhat. And in my last video we covered that she's going on Eurovision, and well, the updates are not great. Because she actually did end up going to Poland, unfortunately. As you can see, she's in one of the beautiful squares. Poland is a beautiful country. Slightly tarnished by the fact that they now have Jojo Siwa gunning for them. And this was preluded to in this TikTok here, which is just prime cringe.
I think I should get this. It says, I polish up your nice, but do you know what else it says? I polish up your
Absolute cringe. Get away, get away, get away. I see you've got the Polish flag on the cap as well, Jojo. You're matching up. Oh no, you don't have that. That's Japanese. Well, you tried. Are you going to try and claim Japanese heritage next? And honestly, I don't think you do polish up very well. I won't lie. Especially with the outfits that we've already covered. With Poland even being treated to, once again, the most terrible dance that you will ever see in the world. She ended up in business class, having a beautiful time, obviously, while she was in business class, because she's a big multi-millionaire famous loser, and she was really grifting it. She did like 30 TikToks on it, and I think this is just another attempt to try and get closer to Eurovision, being like, oh, I'm in touch with my heritage because I've been to Poland, even though you're 1/8 Polish. And I mean, I'm 1/16 Irish, so am I Irish? Actually, I'm a bit more than that, but we'll let that slide. And this grift for Eurovision even got further, with her then going on to try and pretend that she is learning this language that she clearly doesn't really care for, because she only invented the fact she had this Polish heritage about 5 minutes ago.
Gdybym miał życzenia, karma to suka, powinno było wierzyć lepiej. Gdybym miał życzenia, nie bawiłbym się mniej.
And I mean, it's a bit scuffed, but what do you expect from someone who is just deciding that they are now Polish? With one commenter saying, any Polish people tell me you understood anything she said, with someone replying, understood until the last 2 sentences. That's all gibberish. And I'm sure they all sounded the same, so, like, what? So, brilliant. In my opinion, I think she's just trying to do this for a grift. But not only is she trying to do this for a grift, it came out that she got fully exposed for it and just said that, well, none of this is even happening. Because as you can see, with this BBC News article, we haven't spoken to Jojo Siwa, says Polish Eurovision bosses. Just got totally exposed for saying that you're doing something that you're totally not. It's just all PR. Which kind of makes it insane that she's even going to the point of pretending to learn the language for it and visiting Poland for it. Imagine how much of a loser you have to be to grift that hard. With it saying here, in a post on TikTok, the 21-year-old claimed she had a real discussion about performing at the contest next year. But Polish broadcaster TVP, which is involved in choosing the country's Eurovision act, said it wasn't speaking to the artist and hadn't made any decisions about 2025. Which is just so funny because she's just lied about it. What else are you prepared to lie about, Jojo, for a couple of likes? Could it be your entire perception of a person? Could it be your entire rebrand? This is what happens when begging for attention goes way too far. In her video, Jojo describes Poland as a massive part of her ancestry, saying she's 1000% willing to participate. I actually happen to be Polish. The way she says it as well. Oh, I actually happen to be Polish. Legitimately like she has just discovered it 5 seconds ago, like we thought. She says an early joke in response to a comment about participating had since become a real conversation. Well, it hadn't. It hadn't become a conversation at all because it didn't happen. I have a project that I'm actually committed to when Eurovision is happening, but I might be able to make both work if Poland wants me to. If Poland wants to represent me, I will be there. I will make it happen. What? I'm actually doing something while Eurovision's on, by the way, so I'm not going to be there. But if they want me to be there, I might be there. What, so you've gone from saying that you were definitely in discussions to have it to these discussions never happened and you are actually busy the entire way through the next Eurovision? Like, come on, we're older than this. Fans backed Jojo Siwa to represent Poland after a song Yesterday, Tomorrow's Today began climbing the streaming charts there. That's the thing in it. It's not because she's Polish, it's because she's seen that one song is doing well specifically in Poland, so she's like, I actually happen to be Polish, and then goes on this big grift, going over to Poland and doing a load of stuff there just because it's making her money. This is a new market I can exploit. This is a new market I could go into. It's literally all about money. It's nothing to do with her heritage or if she even gives a shit about Poland. She doesn't. It's just another feather in the cap for Jojo Siwa because it seems that she just lies her way through life. How many more personalities do you think she's going to bring out? How many more nationalities do you think she's going to bring out? It depends where the streaming is going to start climbing. But climbing as well, this song doesn't even have 1 million views on YouTube, so how can it be climbing? Sounds like to me it's just trying to crawl its way up slowly. In 5 years, Jojo's saying that she's come a long way, but looking at this, it's the exact same thing, just with a LGBT keyboard. That's the only difference, and a couple more photos of herself because she loves herself. There's not much that's changed with Jojo. There's not much that's going to change with Jojo. She will constantly be this person who's just trying to be divisive for attention. Will we laugh at it? Yes. Will we clown on her? Yes. But is it worth it for her? No. She's probably got another year or two in the tank, and I think as long as her PR team are covering her, they will watch that downfall and just start crying. But I think that this is going to go on for a little bit longer. Maybe a couple more albums. But then obviously everyone's going to see that this gimmick isn't working because people saw what she had changed into. They didn't like it. She had the shock factor from the first single that she released, and then everything else has flopped. Now, as we've seen, she's trying to jump into new markets where she can market herself because everything's about money for her. Who needs integrity? Who needs to care about these issues that you say that you care about because you're just Jojo Siwa? Everyone should listen to you. When in my opinion, she should put down the phone and she should fuck off. And I think you should listen to me when I say if you enjoyed the video, please do let me know what you think. If you liked the video, hit the like, subscribe if you're not. I would love to see you back. I've been Jake Baz and I will see you later. Take care.